Welcome to the Scuttlebutt Podcast. There are lots of drinks, there are no rules, and it is a lot of fun. Relax, you are amongst friends.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 2 of Scuttlebutt VR. I am your host, Theron, along with Hermes, back again for another round of VR shenanigans. How you doing tonight, Hermes?
Woo! You know, I am swell. This is an impromptu that I am happy to have fallen into.
You're looking good, man. Did you get a tan? Go traveling?
My skin updated correctly.
Yeah, I see that.
I got it updated correctly to the right skin tone. You know,
it looks good.
So, upgrade. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. And I wasn't too nauseous last time, so we're making steps.
Hey, that is a big step. You didn't even end up in a weird
Especially
puddle on the floor of disjointed arms.
Don't jinx me.
Yeah, yet.
Yet.
Well, anyway, as is tradition, I guess we can get the easy stuff out of the way. What you drinking on tonight, my bald buddy?
I am drinking on a cider, an Angry Orchard cider.
An Angry Orchard.
Classic. Here's me grabbing my Angry Orchard.
Did you like how I put them in post in the last one?
Did you?
Oh my, yeah.
I didn't even realize.
Big fan right here, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I am drinking on a vodka cranberry. Yeah, I put a bunch of stuff in. I did like a bunch of visual effects.
Well, I saw the visual effects. I just didn't realize that was one of them. I guess my brain didn't put two and two together that I didn't have it when we were recording.
I worked so hard to find a picture of that German beer.
That's how good you did. It was seamless.
That's true. It seemed real, even though my cranberry was like this fucking tall. Which is how I like them, in case anyone is wondering.
Facts.
So yeah, we're here tonight to mostly talk about the news that everyone else already covered. Facebook is Meta now. They're doing crazy Facebook shit.
No, it's not. No, they want to be meta, but they don't even know what meta means.
That's. I love that is your hardline stance immediately, because I've heard a couple people, even here on VRchat, talking about how we should stop calling it the metaverse just to spite them.
Yeah, fuck them.
Like they're trying to basically like copyright and move their way into what is a general concept essentially, and since it's just an idea, we could change the name of it. It's the Nexus now. I think Thrill Seeker on YouTube was who suggested that as a name. But it's like, fuck it, it's that easy.
Cool. Fuck them. Everybody only can refer to it as Nexus from now on.
I will say, as much hate as Facebook or Meta or whoever rightfully deserves, it is, I do see it as a generally positive thing for VR. Because they came forward and they said that they're going to continue subsidizing decent quality VR hardware like the Oculus Quests for like basically at a loss. In one of their keynotes, they said that they've already, compared to where they thought they would be at, are at a $10 billion deficit in VR. And they have like no intention to stop, apparently, because that's how they're this invested in this being what the future looks like.
That's just a fancy way of saying that they know it's going to be popular, and they're just giving their, like, you know, sympathy card out there.
But like, you're not seeing like any of the other major tech giants who are like, hey, like, I mean, everybody acknowledges it's going to be big at this point. Everybody knew it was going to be big in the 80s. Like, there were plenty of movies about it. But like, how many companies are willing to just like throw literal billions of dollars, just burn it?
Yeah,
Like,
except so
it's not for nothing.
by that
They're not doing it
logic-
out of the kindness of their hearts. That's for sure.
right. But by that logic, Facebook was down for like what 6 to 8 hours that one time earlier in October, and
Yep.
Zuckerberg said it was like, oh yeah, we lost like $6 billion worth of money or like revenue for being down. So $10 billion, that's basically 10 hours worth of a Facebook a day in a 24-hour period. So in the grand
which is
scheme of
exactly
things,
how
Facebook,
much
shut
your
the fuck
data's
up.
worth. Like, that's why it's such a good investment. Because, like, if you think of the data that they're able to scrape off of just your Facebook account, and then just like, oh yeah, we're going to make a world where everyone can just live virtually. Like, man, forget about it. Forget 10 hours. They'll be making that in 10 minutes.
Right. And so it's like, yeah, it sounds 10 billion sounds like a lot to you and me, but it's like, it's not that much to Facebook. They don't give a fuck. 10 billion.
Sure, that's one, and it's like
10 billion. That's potential 10 billion.
exactly. That's what I was about to say. Is it's all on paper. It's not like there's a big Scrooge McDuck fucking vault of money that's getting passed around from person to person. Like, it's all kind of just, we agree that this much money exists, so you have it and I don't.
Or potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fuckbook can fuck off. Okay, that's what I think.
Yeah, well, they've determined now that they're changing Oculus. They're getting rid of the Oculus brand too. I've already seen ads for the Meta Quest 2, which sounds like a fucking terrible 90s movie, by the way. Like, Meta Quest 2 sounds like a movie that went straight to VHS. Didn't even get a theatrical release. They recast half the characters. Like,
and it's not even like, it's VHS right before DVD took over, so it's not even going to be around and available on anything for very long, and it's not going to get converted to DVD. That's how bad it was. It went straight to
the
VHS.
Longevity is a great question too, because that's like a lot of people. I feel like I could speak for myself. I think I also speak for you. Like, we're almost on Facebook just out of like necessity at this point. It's hard to exist and talk to certain people, and like through the podcast, we can't promote it without Facebook. Like, and so it's a little scary to think that like their idea is like, yeah, we're gonna have this whole virtual space that's that. And as much as I want to be like, well, fuck that, I'm not gonna use it. Is it gonna eventually get to the same point as the Facebook app, where it's like, well, I use it when I have to because I have to. And next thing you know, I'm spending hours a day in their idea of what virtual reality looks like. That's what they're talking about is full Ready Player One shit. Like, they're talking about having like NFTs that like have markets that literally have people working at them. Like you put on a headset and go to your job and make money.
I mean, I think that's a good like start, just like the Oculus is a good start. Obviously, it got me into VR, but it's also leading me down the road of like monopolies, right? Like, we use it out of necessity because,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, is it just going to become like so big that you don't really have a choice,
and therefore hindering the overall
growth
and technology that could occur had it not been only Facebook, and only Facebook is the necessity in order to like experience this VR Ready Player One. I mean, I don't know. I wonder how they're going to balance that.
They're talking a big game about like it being open, about them trying to not necessarily using open source stuff, but like the building blocks that they're going to be using to make this, they want to give out to other people, which makes sense. I can go to Facebook on an iPhone, an Android, a Windows computer, like whatever it is. They're not going to discriminate. They want people to be able to access their stuff. So, like, yeah, right now we have an Oculus Quest, but I definitely think in the future it's going to be available on any headset. Like, they're going to want people to come in.
You obviously know better than I do about like VR and VRchat and whatnot. I'm on an Oculus right now. You're on an Oculus right now. Can you get into VR, into this room right now, not on an Oculus?
Oh, absolutely.
And you can do that on a Mac or a PC?
Yes, if you'll remember when Morpheus first started playing with us, he was playing just on his PC flat screen with no headset or anything. You don't actually need VR to be in VRchat.
Interesting.
It's super ironic because I'm not the first person to make this joke, but you see a lot of people who are running around a desktop PC, not talking to a single fucking person. And it's like, you're not doing VR, you're not doing chat. Why are you here?
Yeah. Well, it makes me think it's like, how is Facebook, Fuckbook, Meta, whatever, Nexus, how are they going to bridge that gap to bring us all into the VR if everything is kind of like open, quote unquote, where like anybody can, because if everybody's just accessing it on their phone or their desktop, it's like they could go to work just as they do now, just I guess, for Facebook. I mean, how are they really going to involve
I think it's just because they
sphere,
are Facebook is really the biggest push, or Meta or whatever, because like it's the same argument as like you and I could start a social network right now and we could make it and have all these things and like still no one's going to use it. And
yeah,
so
realistically, yeah.
Like even though you and I are really like kind of wary of the idea, like that there are going to be a bunch of people who are just sucking Facebook's dick all over it and are just like, this sounds great. How do I get it? I want in on the ground floor. And it's, like I said, it's insane. Like, the next they announced Project Cambria, which is their new higher end like headset. That's going to be probably priced a little bit higher, I would assume. There's very little details about it so far. But one of the details that are out is that it will have eye tracking. And so, like, that's cool because it'll make it work better. It also literally will tell Facebook what ads you spend the most time staring at so it can market you more of those. Like, it toes the line between being extremely convenient and super dystopian. Like, and I think that's always been the trade-off, and tech companies know that, is that you're willing to sacrifice security for convenience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Privacy, security, all of it.
And that's every person has a different limit, but to some degree everyone's willing to. And that's just what they're banking on. There is a little bit of pushback though. Like we've talked before about having to use your Facebook account on the headset. Like how you can't use it without it. Coming soon, allegedly, according to them, you will be able to. You'll be able to use it independently of a Facebook account. What does that mean? I do not know. Does it mean that you just have a different like Meta account now? Does it mean that I can sign in with my Google account and then Google just sells Facebook all my data? Like, does it really change anything?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. It's like now they're just asking for more access to more accounts rather than the account they already have. Well,
and that's kind of the thing is that people are like, well, I don't want to do this, but it's not really that big. I mean, for me, I don't use my Facebook that often anyway, so I kind of like logged in and forgot about it. The only time it comes up is when I'm buying new games from the store.
It's only when I'm here or when I'm, like you said, promoting the podcast, so I don't fucking use Facebook ever.
Exactly. So it's not, I don't feel like there's a whole huge amount of privacy that's being leaked. And you and I have also discussed on our traditional podcasts about how, like, even if you're super protective of your information, the dude who's like right next to you in the subway probably fucking isn't. So you're gonna like, there's only so much protection. Subway. Well, right, exactly. There you go. Just be a hermit. Just go live in the woods by yourself, and you'll be completely safe.
Hey. I don't know.
On a more positive note, they did announce some fun new games that I'm looking forward to. One of them already came out as of the time of this recording, and obviously the time of upload, and that is Blade and Sorcery, which is like a super cool physics-based kind of hack and slash.
So, excuse me, I was taking a drink. Was that the one I saw Rough Talk playing?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Badass.
It's super cool. You'll probably break your TV. That's just a disclaimer to anyone watching the podcast right now. Make sure you have plenty of room because it gets violent. Like you get into it.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't recommend casting it for people because then other people who are watching you are like, I didn't know he's like that.
Didn't realize I was friends with a psychopath.
Yeah, with an actual psychotic person. Yeah. Because once you realize how good the physics are, the first thing you want to do is start like well, what if I do this? Yeah, exactly. Like,
Does it
how
come off here?
what level of dismay can we break necks? Like, it's a great game. I'd recommend it.
All right. I would check it out. The other one that you sent me was like the D&D-esque one, where it's literally
Demio's been
it is
out
the
for a while
most
though.
Yeah, that one. I downloaded it. I need to fucking start playing it because it looks.
Okay.
Every trailer I've seen looks so fucking amazing. And anybody who's like into D&D, like I am, I really want. Does it support multiplayer like across?
Yeah.
Like
I need to buy it and then we can play together.
But like anybody around the world could also join in. We could have campaigns and stuff like do.
I mean, if
together,
they have
like
your Oculus username, there's like a friends list.
Right, but like, is it the same story every time? Do we get to make our own stories?
It is procedurally generated, from what I understand.
Oh, I need to play this. I'm playing
randomly different every time. And
tonight.
we know what you're doing right after this recording. The last game that's coming out that they didn't give a release date for, but I'm super excited about, is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for VR.
For VR? Holy shit.
They just released like Resident Evil as a VR port that's like been completely redone. It's not just like a remaster or anything. And I'm hoping that's what they do. I'm hoping for a first person insane romp around San Andreas.
Can you imagine on the fucking bikes and shit? That would be...
It's going to be great. And that it was the one that introduced like, oh, you can work out and you can like do all this. You have all these different like stats that you can keep track of, but you don't really have to. Like,
right.
There was the whole Sasquatch myth. Everyone I knew spent hours in those fake woods.
And you think they finally put him in there for us?
I'm hoping that they did, because it wasn't in there in the original one. Like, people have ripped that code apart, and it never was there. They referenced it in GTA 5 in a mission, so I'm hoping. Speaking of prostitutes, do you think they're going to fix the whole hot coffee situation? If you remember that controversy when the game came out,
that was the only hidden thing, quote unquote thing I remember was the hot coffee one.
Yeah, it was just like a full on sex mini game.
Yes, exactly. It was before God of War had it. San Andreas had it.
Yeah, and then I remember it was this huge, like, moms everywhere were getting outraged because it was a thing. It wasn't even actually in the game. It was supposed to be removed, and then like you could just access it through a very specific set of circumstances that just randomly happened to get you there.
Wasn't it like a cheat code or something that I remember?
That was the way to do it later. But like,
yeah.
Before they figured out, it was basically like a code injection that you could put in. But yeah, before that, it was like, well, go here and you have to like do this and like hit this exact series of buttons and you'll clip through the wall or whatever. Like, I miss those days of video games. Now everything's like
back when the bad boys were running shit,
right? And there was just
the
like
Wildcats.
It felt like it was worth spending that much time in games. Maybe it was just because I was a kid and I didn't have anything better to do, but. Like, a lot of times now, I feel like it's a chore.
Yeah, exactly, to go on all these things. At the same time, I didn't, like, you were there when I went back to visit the family. That was the first time I had played a video game, that I had that feeling of nostalgia where I was like, oh, this I do remember this being fun. I do remember this being awesome.
Hello, old friend.
I'll never have this again. Exactly. Like, I missed you. But it was only for that brief period, like a couple hours. And, we continue on the vacation, continue on our days. We have to go back to work. And it's like, it was a different time. And it was that moment of just, you were good to me. You helped me through a lot.
God, listen to us just booming away over here.
But now it's on our faces. Now we're like in the fucking Matrix. Now,
right? This is the future I was promised. It's great. I don't even want to play flat screen video games. They don't have the same appeal to me. Like,
that's what I was thinking about too. Is like, this is just different. This has a different appeal. Like, this is appeal, right? The VR next level shit. Oculus Quest.
It always comes
Oculus-
back around.
It's okay. It's like peanut butter and jelly, guys. Oculus VR. All right, that's what I was doing. I was waiting for Theron before he.
Oh my god! Why? This is why we have our own equipment, because I don't want to touch his.
But what my point was is the 2D, the flat screen games. Like again, it's its own special nostalgia of like hand-eye coordination with it, and then like actual. Oh, I just stood up. That's not what I meant to do.
He's asserting dominance.
I was getting carried away. I was getting carried away with the buttons, but it's like the hearing of the buttons and the joysticks and having that hand-eye, everything. Why am I leaned over? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, you're looking funky. I gotta say, I love that. I was like, this is the only kind of video games I'll play. And you're like, yeah, this is the only kind of I even watch now.
Not what I meant. But it's well, the point I was making is the flat screen has one set of appeals. Like mobile, nothing is faster and more convenient when you're trying to incognito, on the subway.
I don't know, man. You just kind of slip this thing on, It's great. You got all the privacy in the world, like.
But the VR is a next level, next generation immersion where it's just like, I can't believe I lived through the Renaissance period of technology to not have this. And then as soon as the Matrix comes out, it's gonna be the same thing. It's like now we can like see, taste, hear, smell our.
It's just it's being here right now and then remembering Pong. I know you remember Pong. Yeah. Pepperidge Farm remembers Pong. And it's like, oh yeah, we've gone a long way from just 3 blocks on a screen, basically.
Boop. 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 I'm following the red dot on my
Stop chasing your recording. God. And this is, how much did you drink? You have like 1 cider so far?
As of that you know of.
Well, I'm beginning to question.
I did like a 2-hour tattoo earlier before I jumped onto this. And when you're doing tattoos, you gotta. No, I've had pretty much nothing to drink today. So.
This is me totally sober. Hey, that's probably good because you've got to be a special kind of crazy to be like, let's get drunk tattoos.
Yeah, you're not a actually, that's like the norm, it seems like, in my house. It's like anybody, and this is like one of the few that wasn't drunk for their tattoo. You know what? It turned out really nice. I'm going to post it over on Instagram when I get off of here.
You know what? Nice. I'm actually going to try that more often. There might be something to that. Like,
there might be. I can't promise I'll do it all the time, but maybe at least half the time.
I'm willing to give it a fair shake.
VR tattoos. That's a world I need to get behind.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I wish I had something cool, but like here in VRchat, you see some crazy tattoos, like because it's digital. So you can go nuts. Like you can get like the RGB gamer mode tattoos.
Yeah.
Speaking of gamer mode, we do still have a giveaway going on in our last video, episode 1 of the podcast. So go enter. Thanks, Asterion.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so, I would say that things are going pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we ramble too much into, do we have any more current? My alien has fingernails. I just realized that.
Huh. Drink more then, I think, is the problem. You're too sober for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm too fascinated. I have ADD when I'm not drinking.
Well, the other thing I tagged you, it's not necessarily related to meta, but it is VR, is the application Gravity Sketch, which is great for modeling in VR, has a collaborative mode now. So I'm looking forward to setting up a room and making some weird stuff.
Oh, you thought was bad in VR.
Yeah.
Just you give
Wait
me
till you see what this alien
3D
brain can do.
Who's got a fucked up sensibilities? This guy. Oh, my bad.
And there goes the camera. On this note, guys, I think this is an absolutely fantastic time to wrap the show up. We are the Scuttlebutt Podcast, and this has been Scuttlebutt VR. If you want to know more about us, there's links down in the description, and we're all over the social medias. So we are looking forward to hearing from you, and would love if you give us a like, a subscribe, just all the dumb YouTube stuff to help the algorithms. I won't pop up the graph. I'm not that mean to you. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.